If you have no clue about what's going on, about a month ago, I made a rant on this relatively large content creator by the name of Emoji Marbles. If you don't know who Emoji Marbles is, he's basically this 14-year-old kid who makes a variety of content. However, his content is horseshit. He also can't take criticism. Can't take jokes. And gives internet trolls attention. Not going to dive any further on who this guy is. Well, anyways, after I posted my rant, which got like 600 views, he proceeded to respond. Long story short, his response was fucking dogshit. It didn't debunk anything my video said at all. He just made himself look like an idiot. If you're asking why I'm responding to this abomination of a video, it's not to protect my image, it's to give him a wake-up call. Let's dive into this shitty response. So anyways, Emoji Marbles' response video to me starts out with him basically giving his viewers a disclaimer to not send harassment to anybody mentioned in his video, which that's actually a pretty respectable thing to do on his part. However, after he gave that disclaimer, things would begin to go downhill from there. About a minute into my video about him, we'd reach my first point against Emoji Marbles. The fact his content is fucking dogshit. He tried to counter it with one of the shittiest counter-arguments I've ever heard. According to Emoji Marbles, criticizing content is completely invalid, because you don't have to watch stuff you don't like. Which is technically true. You don't have to watch stuff you don't like. However, we as people, have the right to criticize things we don't like. The reason we criticize stuff in the first place is so people can take our advice and learn to make better works in the future. There's also another problem with this argument. It makes Emoji Marbles look like a fucking hypocrite. How, you may ask? Well, on Emoji Marbles' channel, he fucking criticizes content. His justification for his hypocrisy is that he offers actual criticism. My response to that is, no, Emoji Marbles. Your videos criticizing content don't offer any actual criticism. The only thing you do in those videos is point out things you don't like. And barely elaborate on why they're bad. You can use whatever mental gymnastics you want to quote counter this. However, that won't disprove the fact the argument you're using to invalidate criticism of content is horseshit. Well, anyways, continue a little further into Emoji Marbles' response to me. We reach the point where I'm talking about his commentaries, and I point out the fact most of his commentaries are just rants. He proceeds to respond to this with an unfunny clip, and another shitty argument. What's that argument, you may ask? Since he doesn't like the rant genre, that means he doesn't make rants. And then proceeds to accuse me of not knowing what a rant is, despite defining what a rant is in my fucking video. The argument that since you don't like something, you don't make it is horseshit. You can unintentionally make something you don't like whether you can accept that fact or not. As you can probably tell so far, Emoji Marbles isn't doing a great job at debunking any of my points. We've finally reached my second point. Emoji Marbles can't take criticism. My point about him not being able to handle criticism was validated by multiple examples of him not responding well to constructive criticism. However, in common Emoji Marbles fashion, he'd have to use fucking insane mental gymnastics to quote disprove my valid criticism. His only counter-argument to this was showing what he interprets as not being able to handle criticism. A troll making a joke rant about his haters. This counter-argument is dogshit. A troll making a joke rant about his haters isn't what not handling criticism well is.
Blindside alert.
The proof is right there, you retard.
Not being able to handle criticism well is almost always responding to criticism in a negative and non-constructive manner. Exactly what Emoji Marbles is doing. In fact, I can actually elaborate on this further. I have multiple other examples of Emoji Marbles not responding to criticism in a constructive manner outside of Science Guy 722. Here are some of them. Example number 1. Cool Speedy Josh. Not gonna elaborate much on who Cool Speedy Josh is. However, all you need to know is he's a relatively small rant YouTuber. Well, anyways. Basically, Cool Speedy Josh did pretty much the exact same thing I did to Emoji Marbles. Make a rant video about him. As you all may know by now, Emoji Marbles can't take fucking criticism. So of course he had to make a shitty response. Pretty much in Emoji Marbles' response, Emoji Marbles would use mental gymnastics to quote disprove Cool Speedy Josh's actually valid points. These days, Emoji Marbles occasionally tries taking jabs at Josh. However, since Emoji Marbles is kind of an idiot, he fails fucking miserably.
Blindside alert.
Example number 2. What are you doing here? This is good. What are you doing here? This is good. Who we'll just call good for short is another small commentator just like Cool Speedy Josh. Anyways, back in October of 2021. Back when Good's YouTube channel used to mostly consist of memes, he'd make a 1-minute rant on Emoji Marbles, which provided criticisms mainly for his content. I guess this video would get noticed by both Emoji Marbles and his fans, and its like to dislike ratio would get destroyed. Months later, on the 1st of July, 2022, Good would make a better, redone rant on Emoji Marbles. The video was probably one of the best rants on Emoji Marbles I've watched so far. Yet, in common Emoji Marbles fashion, he'd have to make a shitty response using mental gymnastics to quote disprove Good's points. Example number 3. The Packaged Reviewer. The Packaged Reviewer, yet again, is another relatively small rant YouTuber. Only has a third of Emoji Marbles following. Anyways, the Packaged Reviewer would actually make probably the best and most well-structured video on Emoji Marbles I've ever seen. The video was seriously great, and I recommend checking it out.
Shut the fuck up, Anita!
However, despite this rant being probably one of the best on Emoji Marbles, he of course had to make a 30-minute response to the Packaged Reviewer's video. Of course, the response was almost the exact same as his others to the many who have criticized him. After giving these many examples, I expect Emoji Marbles to back down and accept the fact he sucks ass at taking criticism. However, if he doesn't, he's likely fucking delusional. We've arrived at my third point. Yes, Emoji Marbles can't take jokes. Believe it or not, Emoji Marbles barely even bothered responding to this claim. The only thing close to a response from him was when I brought up the fact emoji marbles gets easily offended over people calling him fatherless. As a response he said, and quote this, "It can offend someone's dad. Pure smarts." Since there's nothing really to respond to, I guess I'll give you guys more examples of emoji marbles not being able to take jokes. Example number 1. Emoji marbles calling me homophobic for calling one of his friends gay. All I have to say about this is, if you actually want to make saying gay homophobic, you have to be using it in a specific context. Specifically a context used against gay people. Also funny how he calls me homophobic despite being gay myself. Yes guys, I actually am gay. Example number 2. Emoji marbles calling out somebody for telling him to hate on a show he likes. Essentially, a troll, who goes by the name of Rocky, told emoji marbles to start hating on Number Blocks, a show emoji marbles enjoys. He had to call out this obvious joke comment. Example number 3. Emoji marbles calling out somebody for saying a cartoon character he likes isn't real. Yes, this is true, and I have no words. It's pretty clear emoji marbles doesn't have a clue what a joke is. And he can't take them either. We've finally fucking arrived at my final point. Emoji marbles is a troll feeder. Well anyways, emoji marbles yet again would use his mental gymnastics to get around my point. He simply can't just admit what I'm saying is true. This is likely one of the most pathetic responses he made to me in his video. Let's see this train wreck of a final response. Essentially with emoji marbles, he claims stuff like when a troll calls him something like fatherless, he makes videos on them to quote troll them back. When I pointed out to him he's just making himself look like a pussy and he wasn't trolling these trolls back, he responded by telling me I was a liar. Pretty pathetic response. Look emoji marbles, I know you're probably going to try getting around this with your mental gymnastics, but you're not trolling these people back. Trolls are people who say or do stuff just to get your attention and piss you off. Whenever Dizzy BT show is calling you a pedophile without any evidence, they aren't being serious. Neither are they trying to ruin your career. They just want to get your attention. However, the way you quote troll these people back is by either quote calling them out or making a needless commentary about them. You aren't trolling people like Dizzy BT show back. You're just giving them what they want. Attention and also displaying you're still kind of a pussy. This is the final nail in the coffin. From what we've seen in this video, emoji marbles is completely incapable of taking criticism.
Behold! Shut the fuck up, Anita!
He always has to use these insane mental gymnastics to get by well-structured points. He can never back down. Every time you make a video on this kid, he has to make a shitty response. Emoji marbles, if you're watching this, go ahead, respond. Use your insane mental gymnastics to try to get around my points. It'll never work. Anybody who isn't one of your brain-dead fans knows I'm the one in the right here. They all know you're somebody who makes shit content. Can't take.
Behold! Shut the fuck up, Anita!
My final conclusion on you emoji marbles, you still suck fucking ass.